Hi, this is Kara. Welcome to Breaking Free Fridays, or welcome back if you've been following this series. It's really great to have you here. I've been heavy in my heart this week, and I wanted to share with you about that and navigating grief. This week, my dad would have been 78, and he passed away 2 years ago this July. And then in addition to that, I lost another close family member last month. And so there's just been a lot of heaviness, sadness that I've been working through and I've been processing. And I've been through losses, a lot of losses actually in my life of different natures, loved ones that have passed, pets, beloved pets that have passed, losses that come in the form of relationships, in the form of expectations that you think something is happening and it doesn't, or traumatic experiences. You know, that's an interesting one because we often don't realize that some of our healing journey through that is actually a processing of loss and grief. Because we lose something through some of those traumatic experiences that we have in life. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, she had found, many years ago, that there are 5 different stages to grief. One is denial, another is bargaining, another is anger, another is depression or sadness, and then another is acceptance. And with grief, there comes all sorts of different emotions that we go through, and the process is definitely not linear, and it's not a one and done deal either. It's one of those things that, you know, we can come back to different stages of the grief experience at different moments in our life. I know I've really been experiencing that this week in particular, and my dad's birthday is 6 days after mine, and so I grew up celebrating. We celebrated our birthdays together, and so I thought last year would be the harder one because that was the first birthday after he passed. But I find that it's just different. It's just hitting differently. And some of the things that I do to really help myself process through the grief, and that I found particularly helpful just in general with loss, is really being gentle and compassionate with myself and attuning to what my own self-care needs are, because that's a time where there's a lot of tenderness, and you know, sometimes that means giving myself time and space to cry. Sometimes it means, you know, surrendering into nature and being outside and, you know, leaning against this beautiful tree, for example, and, you know, sourcing some strength from this beautiful earth that we call home. Another thing for me, especially with the loss and the grief part with my dad, I've lost other loved ones before, but it's been a long time. And one of the things that I've noticed as I've grown in my spirituality, I think I've shared before that for my childhood and even to my young adulthood, I was agnostic at best. And so when I found that spiritual awakening side of myself and really started developing, valuing, and placing utmost importance in relationship with God, or, you know, for you, however you define that, you know, a higher consciousness, universal, good spirit, all, you know, whatever it is for you. But when I found that part of me, a whole nother piece of awakening took place. A lot of my gifts started developing, the clair senses, and my sense of assurance that there's something more beyond this physical just really blossomed. And so with my dad's passing, I was definitely he had a pretty rough go the last few years with his health declining, and so I was doing some supportive energy work on him and connecting to his spirit, and in that way, kind of developing a little bit of a different relationship with him. I feel like now, looking back, kind of in preparation to help ease that transition. And I just I find that there is solace in that. So if you are in a place where you've already discovered that for yourself, I'm sure you can already appreciate what I'm talking about. And if you haven't yet, I really invite you to open yourself to the possibility of something greater, because it does help with the grieving, being able to connect with that person that we love and that we lost, physically speaking, to be able to move into a different relationship. And it's not the same, obviously, but there's a new adventure in it, a new adventure for them on their own, a new adventure for us in the physical, but also in how we can relate to our loved ones on that energetic plane and in that spiritual context. But I find sometimes journaling is really helpful too. I'd be really curious to hear your thoughts and comments on some of the things that you found really helpful in your grieving process. And if, some of what I've been sharing has been resonating too. And so I find too, with grief, the more that we process it and we release and we keep empowering ourselves and we keep moving through that, we actually find more empowerment, because we're processing the emotions. They're not staying stuck in our system and kind of holding energy up and kinking the system up, if you will. So here is to a beautiful next week. Happy spring, and thank you for being a part of this community. I'm so grateful for you, and I hope you have a wonderful next week. Here's to your next level of empowerment, your next level of breaking free. And I'd love it if you'd share this video if there's someone you think it might help as well. Subscribe if you're enjoying them, and send a like. All right, bye for now.